Welcome to the Void. We're going to be talking about Greg Locke versus warlocks and witches and masons. Oh my. I am really looking forward to this. He is going to go off the rails. He's going to say some crazy stuff, and he's going to talk really, really fast. So this is going to be really dense, really intense, and we're just going to go in for it. If you don't know who Greg Locke is, he got famous for his anti-COVID stances, where he would not close his church or put in place even basic COVID precautions because he felt like it got in the way of worship, even though it often didn't. We did cover him once before when he was criticizing Robert Jeffress for putting in place COVID precautions at that church. Greg Locke has fought those regulations every step of the way. He's a Tennessee pastor. He loves his state very much, and today he's going to complain about the real witches, masons, and even some demons that exist in this world. Let's get into it. Oh, hey, no. No, keep...
To hop on here, but I'm going to go ahead and get started because I got a lot to say in just a very short amount of time to say it. I'm going to be passionate, so do not mistake my passion for what people call arrogance, because I'm going to say some things that need to be said. So I want you to tune in. I want you to share this. I want you to go back and watch it. And I want everybody around, especially the people near to us in our community, to hear me when I say we are not bending to your demands.
Okay, that was 30 seconds in. You already got a taste of what this is going to be. This is going to be a wild ride. By the way, this is on normal speed. I just want you to know. He is talking that fast as a normal person. He is very worked up about this. And we're going to see what it is exactly, but clearly there's something that he does not want to do. And when Greg Locke doesn't want to do something, he doesn't do it. He has his whole church visit in a circus tent, like an actual circus tent thing structure that that he's fitted out to be his church, because they can't worship indoors, so they have the tent set up so that they can worship outdoors and do the same thing, which, I mean, doesn't really work that way, but hey, whatever. That's just an example of like who this guy is and what sort of how he treats critique. He just like finds a way to work around it or work through it. So let's find out what exactly he's talking about here. Yeah.
You hear me? I never would have thought that a month or so ago, when I started preaching on deliverance from demons and what it means to be delivered in the mighty name of the Lord Jesus Christ, which is still true, I never would have thought that we would have not only opened a window in heaven, but lifted a lid in hell.
Okay, well, that is a statement. He believes in actual demons that we have to be delivered from. I'm taking that screenshot. I am taking that screenshot. That is quite the intense gaze. Let me make sure that we are at the highest quality, because I'm gonna need that just for a moment. Just for a moment. Alright, so apparently Greg Locke believes demons are real. I am terrified and curious at the same time. I love this. Please, Greg Locke, tell me more about these demons. I need to know. As a void, I sort of exist between heaven and hell, so I don't really understand your whole celestial bodies and whatnot. So I have to know, what do you mean by demons that we must be delivered from? What do you mean by a lid on hell? Oh, I have so many questions. You have 12 minutes, well, 11 minutes now. No, 12 minutes. You have 12 minutes left to answer them. I do hope we get some. Oh, gosh. This excites me so. All right, Greg, let's see what you got.
I'm telling you, every demon you can imagine has come against our church,
Ooh,
has come against me and my family. The
demon.
threats have been unreal. The news media has been unreal. It has been unbelievably ridiculous, but it is par for the course, and we...
All right. I'll give Greg this. He's entertaining. News media are demons, you say? Well, if I didn't know better, Greg, that would almost sound in line with QAnon beliefs of a deep state and the fake news media. It would almost sound in line with those sorts of beliefs where people think that anyone who's against them is demonic. You wouldn't be one of those pastors who's an extreme fundamentalist, who also might believe that COVID restrictions are demonic and restrict your ability to worship. Greg Locke, I had faith in you. Now, these are my extrapolations. I do not know what you have to say yet about this, but I am so entertained. Apparently he also plays golf. Who knew? Makes sense though. He looks very comfy in that hoodie. Maybe that's his golfing hoodie. I will give him this. Greg Locke has a good fashion sense. He dresses well. Okay.
We are not backing down. I'll be preaching on demons tomorrow night. Wednesday night, the 2nd. Wednesday night, February 2nd. I'm still going to be preaching on deliverance from demons.
That's tonight. That's tonight,
this weekend,
folks.
I'm still going to be preaching on deliverance. And you know what? With no YouTube cameras around, with no lights, with no glitter, with no gold, we have literally been ministering deliverance to people every single day. They are driving to us from all over the country. They're coming to the church services, which are lasting more than 2 hours with the live stream off, because we're not trying to do this for our glory. This is for the glory of God that is rising amongst his people.
Okay. So he still hasn't told us what's happening? We're a minute and a half in. He still hasn't told us what's happening, but he's told us he's going to be preaching about demons tonight. So I guess we'll check in next week and see how that went.
A little bit in my office. They just left 5 minutes ago. We have seen some of the most unbelievable supernatural displays of God's grace and the power of the gospel that you could ever imagine. I'm telling you, we've been lied to denominationally for a long time. There is a spiritual realm that we need to expose. Jesus opened up the kingdom.
Sometimes I just need to pause to catch my breath. He's saying a lot of things. Okay, so just to recap, he said that there were people who left his office like 5 minutes ago. It sounded like they were some sort of officials that left like 5 minutes ago. And rather than giving himself the time to cool off, rather than like taking a breath and okay, Greg, let them go. Going to think about this, going to pray about this, going to be a good Christian man, humble, calm, loving. He has made this video for us where he tells us about how witches are real and demons are real and there's a spiritual realm that we need to be aware of. I am so engaged. Yes, please.
Kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of darkness, and neither one of them have gone anywhere, and we're super cool about preaching on the kingdom of heaven. There's a kingdom of darkness too. There's a kingdom of hell, and the prince of the power of the air is its ruler. And I'm telling you, there are demons. There is
okay, so apparently this is fire and brimstone. This is a fire and brimstone sermon. This is him going on about how hell will swallow you up. Boy, this is going to be real good when we get to the Chick tracks, because him and Chick would have a lot in common, wouldn't they?
demonic possession and demonic oppression. And at the end of the day, the influence of demons is everywhere. And I'm telling you, people have gone buck wild, slap, psychotic, crazy. But I want to say this, so hear me. Here's what I mean in the title that we're not backing down. Today, we have been maligned every way you can imagine. But you know the two biggest groups that are ticked off at me in our church right now? The Masonic Lodge. We had the Masonic...
Oh, no. Oh no, is Greg Locke going to say that the Masons are actually like the Illuminati? Does Greg Locke actually believe that dumb conspiracy theory that's been like debunked and laughed at since, I don't know when, since the 90s at least, since I've been around? Does he really think that the Masons are. Hang on. I just. Alright, everyone, just so you're aware, the Masons were a stone guild. They were a guild of masons, people who worked with stone. And over time, that that guild hall that they would like come to and like communicate prices or whatever the masons talked about became a sort of community space, and the masons became a community building organization. And nowadays, the Masons are pretty much going extinct because they're all just a bunch of old people who rent out their buildings for like parties and stuff, and no one really wants to join the Masons. So, yeah, it's not really the Illuminati. It's just a bunch of old people doing stuff because it's tradition. Like, that's it. Okay. I
Network reach out to us asking me to renounce the incorrect things I said about the Mason Lodge, which is nothing more than a satanic cult. And I will not back down on what I said. They can threaten to kill me all they want to, but I promise you one thing. Come hell or high water, I will expose that wicked, vile, corrupt organization for exactly what it is. But guess who?
Okay, so this isn't. My first thought was reported for threatening violence, but he's not doing that. He's just calling them vile and evil and terrible without like A, really understanding what they are or what they do, and B, he's accusing them of wanting to murder him when, as I said, it's just a bunch of old people. Now the Masons are kind of a misaligned group. They are misunderstood because of conspiracy theories like this, so I don't blame them for wanting to reach out and talk to Greg Locke about, hey, what you said about us being a demonic cult is actually not true. Could you walk that back and tell your people that we aren't actually evil, that we're just a bunch of old people trying to have a good time here? And of course he gets all upset, like, how dare you contradict me? How dare you tell me to do wrong? I don't know, but I have a hard time believing that Greg Locke was threatened with death by the Masons. I just have a hard time believing it. Could be true, but it strikes me as something that I'm going to hold my breath on. We'll see.
Is on their side. The Historical Witchcraft Society. Now you tell
Wait,
me.
what? What?
When the Masons.
Hang on. What did I miss?
Wicked, vile, corrupt organization for exactly what it is. But guess who is on their side? The Historical Witchcraft Society. Now you tell me.
Oh
when
boy.
the Masons and the witches come against the church, you better figure out whose side you're on, Skippy. You better figure out whose side you're on, Bucko. This is an Elijah and prophets of Baal standoff. So here's what's happening.
Okay, boy, you can't go 30 seconds without stepping in some new piles of poo, huh? This is quite a lot of horse dung. So, Rick, could it be that your sermons on demons being real and a spirit realm full of evil being real, could it be that those sermons and preaching those messages actually upset a lot of different people because you accuse, hey, it sounds like you accuse the Masons of being something that they're not, which I don't blame them for wanting you to take that back when, I don't know, you're lying about them, you're saying that they're an evil organization, and that's just not true, and then you're accusing them of being in league with this witches organization that's, according to you, according to what you've said, probably just after you because you're saying demons are real and they're evil, when A, they aren't real. I don't know if this group believes they are, but they aren't real. And if they are, maybe they aren't as bad as you think, or at the very, very least, these people might hold different beliefs from you and feel very attacked when you accuse people like witches of being of the devil. Because that can lead people to feel threatened by the very presence of witches. And I know you're in Tennessee, Greg. I'm up here in the Northeast. I have been to Massachusetts. I don't know if you have, but Salem was a thing. The Salem witch trials were a thing that happened, and a lot of people died for no reason. Witches aren't real. And I don't blame witches, like magic witches with the pots and stuff. People who call themselves witches and practice New Age magic or whatever it's called. Not familiar with it. But whatever that magic practice is called, those people aren't a danger to anyone. And encouraging this sort of Salem-esque mentality of witches are evil and of the devil, and therefore they must be an extension of that logic is therefore they must be sought out and killed and put to death so that we can live in a safe and godly nation. That's not good. That's not healthy. And I don't blame them for being upset about that, because that literally puts them in danger. So it's just a coincidence of you preaching about two things that are unrelated, and those two things being angry because you're lying about them. That's all it is. At least that's what it sounds like based on what you are telling me. Maybe introspect a little bit, Craig. Maybe take a few more than 5 minutes to go on this rant. Just a thought.
Tomorrow night, Wednesday the 2nd, we're having a bonfire at our church, because the Bible says in the Ephesians, to the Ephesian people in Acts 19, that they brought their sorcery and their books and their occultic nonsense, and they burned it and mightily grew the word of God.
Okay, so they're gonna have a bonfire to burn occult stuff? I mean, sure, if that's what you want to do, you want to have like a ritual fire of cleansing to purify your church and your area. I guess you can do that. You're allowed to. But just know that feels just as occult as any other magic practice.
So we announced this past weekend that we're going to have a great big old Bible burning, and we are.
A Bible burning? What are you burning, Greg? I must know. What are you going to burn?
So I let them all know that. You can probably hear the machines out there right now. Beep, beep, beep. They're moving stuff around. They're making a great big old fire pit. We got stuff coming in from all over the place. Some people have already begun to burn their stuff. Man, we got stuff hanging around here. Masonic Bibles, Shriners hats. We got all kind of wicked, crazy sorcery. All type of, just you name it. All kind of books on spells and voodoo dolls and crystals and you name it. And then today,
I have to know how they got this stuff. I have to know, because either Greg Locke's congregation is actually really into magic and is just doing this because this feels like another magic ritual to them, which is absolutely hilarious to me that this is a bunch of Christians who basically practice a New Age Christianity, which would be amazing, and he's got a bunch of retired Masons in his organization, which is where they get all the Mason stuff from. Either that, or these people went out and bought this stuff. They supported magic shops and the Masons with their money so that they could take this stuff and burn it. And I don't know what's funnier. The fact that he accidentally got his congregation to support these people that he is quite literally demonizing, or the fact that he might have a congregation that's in his own perspective more demonic than he realizes. I don't know which is better. But I love it. I love it. This is awful. Like this kind of mentality and encouraging you to burn stuff that is not of God. It's a very cult mindset. It encourages like us versus them. This is good. Anything else is evil. Don't get me wrong. What he's doing is bad. I just can't help laughing at this because this is so ridiculous. And it's a real shame that This has 12,000 views, 2,000 likes, and we'll check the comments out after this because I want to know. I want to know what the other people have to say about this.
In Newsweek, Greg Locke's like Hitler. He's having a book burning. Whatever. What flippin' ever. We're not gonna quit. So here's what happened. There's this silly organization here in our area called Hip Mount Juliet. Most of it's run by witches. If you look at all their profile pictures, a bunch of weed smoking crazy.
All right, Hip Mount Julian. Let's look that up, shall we? Definitely privating this later. Definitely privating this later. I really need a spare tab open all the time. Hip Mount Julian. No, no, no. Oh, Hip Mount Juliet. Let's see. Let's go to their Facebook group, I guess. Yeah, because I'm getting articles about them from like the Tennessee Conservative, and then there's their own Facebook group. So let's go to their Facebook group. Man, I haven't used Facebook in a long time. Let's see how this even looks. Just gotta load. Hip Mount Juliet. Oh, hey, I'm still logged in. Cool. Hip Mount Juliet is a group formed to help connect people that either live, work, or play in the area. Wall can be used for... Okay, so it's just a community group. Lebanon Trading Post. Man's Place to Trade. It's a closed group. Do the members look like weed people? Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Okay, so this is the right area at least. Discussion. Let's go to discussion. It's a private group. Probably because people like Greg Locke are demonizing it. Yep, it is private. That's fair. Members? Nope, okay. So, that's a bit of a dead end. Let's go back. Oh, wow. Facebook opens the thing a lot of times just to get it to work. Anyways, let's go back and see if we can find another source on them. There's one from the Tennessee Conservative. Bowdoin Home Partners. That looks like a real estate place. Business page. Here we go. Business page should give us exactly what we need. That should be open. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Facebook takes a long time to load. It's not easy for the computer to load social media nowadays, is it? There's a lot that it has to pull up. I am so curious about this because he thinks that these people are pot smoking wizards and witches who are against him simply because they are demonic. I am so curious to see if they're just like chill people who just have an aesthetic that he doesn't like, or if they're actually like modern day witches and are using magic and like just genuinely upset about what he's saying. I have no idea what's going to be coming. I'm looking forward to this. Let's see. Yep, he talks about how they use crystals and stuff. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. So while we wait for this to load, of course, the problem I'm seeing. Oh, there we go. Apparently, I just had to restart it. Strictly for business owners to advertise their business. This is not a sales site. I don't know what this site is. All right, so we're not going to use Facebook. Facebook seems to be a dead end and doesn't want to work for us. The thing is that I'm finding with Greg Locke is that he is very passionate, and it's easy to get carried away and ignore like the actual harm that he's doing. Um, all right, Tennessee conservative it is. Because what he's doing is encouraging his congregation to look for signs of demon worship or witchcraft or any of that stuff, Masonic symbols, and encouraging them to basically become conspiracy theorists of their own. Look for these patterns and signs, and then demonize and dehumanize people who have these signs that they find, whether or not they are accurate and whether or not they mean anything. Is this? This is nothing. All right, so I can't find anything about these people. Oh well. I was really hoping to find something, but they're a closed group.
People that have hail Satan and worship the devil, all this bunch of pentagram nonsense, which by the way is on the very brick wall of the Mason Hall on Tate Lane right here in our town.
First off, there's nothing wrong with saying hail Satan or worship Satan, like hail the void, worship the void, praise be to the nothingness of the universe. If you want to worship me, that's fine, deify me. I will accept your praise. Every prayer that you send to God, I will intercept and I will take on as my own. Because before it reaches God, it must pass through the void of space. And guess what? Where there's a void, there I am. So if you want to deify me, feel free. The reason I say that is I can say that and it doesn't mean that I'm evil. I can deify a goldfish, like the snack, and that doesn't mean that I'm evil just because I'm worshiping something that isn't God. Thinking that anyone who worships someone other than the people that you worship is, I don't know, dangerous and it definitely paints a mindset of us versus everyone else. And assuming that just because you see symbols and signs of certain things, it automatically means they're evil. And I grew up like this. I know what this is like. You do go around and do look at people and look up and down their wardrobe, look for jewelry, look for what's on their shirt, and you try to figure out, are they worth talking to? Is that a good person based solely on their aesthetic? Or is that a bad person? Oh, that person's going into, oh, that building. Oh, from that other church. Or, oh, from that other religion. Or, oh, that person is actually a Mason. Oh, now I feel really awkward around them. I'm just here for a party and this person is actually a Mason. Oh, no. It can really end up leaving you feeling unsafe around a lot of people for no reason other than you were taught to look for signs that don't actually mean anything. A symbol of masonry, of the Masons, on the wall of the Mason Hall is not satanic, and it does not mean that they're evil. Sorry, Craig.
And so today, we have a burn permit, by the way, from the state of Tennessee. Isn't that great? From the state of Tennessee, we have a burn permit for tomorrow night, which, let me remind you, we've been burning stuff for weeks and months out here on the lot as we've been moving stuff. People in this town, in this community, in Wilson County especially, they're like burning raw garbage in their backyard.
Oh, don't. No, bad idea. Bad idea. Don't burn your garbage. That is so unhealthy. There's so much that can go wrong there. If you're burning plastic, that can release toxic fumes that can hurt your lungs, make you sick, kill animals and plants and microscopic organisms. Don't burn your regular garbage, even the flammable stuff, because that's not what you're supposed to do. That doesn't break it down well. It can literally hurt the environment when you release this stuff into the air. It can lead to extra greenhouse gases. It can lead to air pollution. Please do not burn your garbage. That's a terrible way of dealing with it. Oh my gosh. Please don't. That scares me.
guess what happened today? The chief of the fire department for Wilson County called me and said, well, we'll provide a chipper for you. Would you put it in a chipper? I'm like, they didn't put it in a chipper in the Bible. And I said, are you telling me that with a burn...
Because that technology didn't exist, Greg. If it existed, it might as well put it in there because it's getting destroyed either way, and that's the point. That's the point of the fire.
Permit. We cannot have a fire, a controlled fire, on private church property because people are mad. And he's like, well, it's such an uproar right now. And I said, look, let me tell you something. I called his name. I said, this is not on you. This is not your fault. We have a burn permit. Well, I think we're going to have to revoke the burn permit. Revoke it. They told me that they will be here tomorrow
this is
night
bad.
to, number one, send a truck to put out the fire, and then have the gall to say, don't let any of your people attack us. Stop.
Okay, I'm going to pause it here. Okay, this is getting real bad. First off, Greg, give to Caesar what is to Caesar. Respect the powers that be. If the powers don't want you to have a fire, there's other ways you can do this. If this is important to you spiritually, look, I don't agree with it, but if this is important to you, you can do it. You can restructure how you're doing it so that the end result is the same and you don't get in trouble with the law again. Because you've already been in trouble with the law before over COVID stuff. And now you're getting angry at the fire department. And I don't blame them for being afraid of your congregation, because your congregation has been riled up by you time and time again, especially, it seems, over demons and fake threats that don't exist. So they're looking for danger everywhere. So when an actual authority comes to counter what you are saying, I would not be surprised if they assume that that person is of the devil, or those people are of the devil, and some of them feel like it is right to attack them for their own safety, because that is how stochastic terrorism works. You just need a couple people who get upset by what you've said and what they're seeing, where they think that the people stopping you are the real threat. You're talking about these authorities as if they are a real threat and a real danger to your own spirituality. And some people can actually take this as a real thing and then go and act on it, and to protect their spirituality, to protect their faith and their church. They will see these people as a real danger when they are just here to enforce the law and put the fire out. Please, Greg, keep your congregation calm. Keep yourself calm. I beg you right now.
Listening to these idiots on who's going to attack you? We're a bunch of church people trying to have church and burn occultic nonsense that's keeping people in bondage. I'm sorry your pastor, wears laced panties.
Whoop! Okay, we got the transphobia. If anyone wants to report this video, I'm gonna link it right now, because this ain't good. This ain't good. Greg. There's nothing wrong with wearing lace panties. First of all, they're actually really soft and comfortable, and if you haven't tried it, I would recommend it, especially one made for your body type. You would actually find it's much more comfortable than boxers or whitey tighties, because they just, hang on, let me copy the link. Okay, it is much more comfortable because it's made to be soft. And have you seen how amazing that pastor looked when they were in drag talking to their church? If you haven't seen it, by the way, I would recommend looking it up. Actually, let's do that right now. Pastor in drag. Because this video is just absolutely incredible. I want to see this again because it's beautiful. All right, where are you? Okay, we have Matt Walsh responding to it. Oh, here we go. Here's, well, it's a news thing, but at least it'll have it in high def. Oh, no, this isn't what I wanted. Okay, but look at this person, right? She is incredible here. Her makeup, her dress, wonderful. She's being very modest, very discreet. She's covering all her skin, but she looks incredible here as a drag queen. And she's doing her thing as a pastor. She could be godly and wear lace panties. If she is. I have no idea what she's actually wearing. Doesn't matter. Point is, Greg, don't be a transphobic piece of garbage when you don't have to, because that only gets your videos reported. If anyone would like to, by the way, timestamp is 5:40. Actually, let me go back 5 seconds. Here is the link. I'm reporting this right now.
That's keeping people in bondage.
All right, pause it right there. 5:34. Let's say 5:34, just for the sake of getting some context. Let's see. Report, because you do not insult the trans community in such an offhand way and expect to get away scot-free. Hateful or abusive content. Choose one. Abusing vulnerable individuals. There we go. I don't know about the video description. I don't really care to check. Okay, there should be a thing popping up. Timestamp selected. 5:34. Greg Locke compares demonic forces and witchcraft to... No, that's not what I want to say. Okay, how do I want to say this for YouTube? Accuses those who try to stand in his way as trans people in a derogatory cross-dressing sense. He associates this with demonic forces that are a real danger and must be burned. Okay, let me just fix my spelling. That's what I'm going to say. You can report this and say whatever you want, but Greg, that's a bad thing to say, buddy. That's a bad look.
Sorry, your pastor, wears laced panties when he preaches and won't stand up and say what needs to be said. But if he wants to keep his people in bondage, that's great. I want our people to be delivered. And yeah, I'm fired up, ticked off at the devil. And he said, well, we're going to...
Greg, trans people are not of the devil. Don't accuse trans people of being of the devil, because that, again, dehumanizes us and makes us seem like we are sinful without God. And let me tell you, you can have trans people who are Christians. I have been in a church that is incredibly queer. The pastor, the deacon, was a lesbian. The one of the elders was a trans man. It was incredible in there. I loved it. I wish I could have gone more. This, what you're insinuating, is just flat out wrong and can be really dangerous.
Come and we're going to put your fire out. Well, first of all, it's going to be in the middle of the parking lot, surrounded by equipment, people, and vehicles. And no, you're not going to put our fire out. Okay, nobody's going to attack you. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And he said, well, you...
Okay, so he's just going to say no to the government then? Like, is he just going to allow himself to be a criminal? Oh my gosh.
Could be fined. Remind you, we have a burn permit. We did this legally. You could be fined anywhere of hundreds to thousands of dollars. So I told him, I'll have a blank check signed with my name on it tomorrow night. Find me whatever you... We'll pay $50,000 in fines. But if you think I'm going to bend to your demands because you're ticked off, all the witches said, we're going to show up and...
I am amazed that he has that much money laying around. Like, first off, his complete disregard for authority, and anyone who gets in his way just will just work through or around them. And secondly, like, he just has $50,000 laying around. That amount of money could literally change my life, and he's just there like, I could just give you that much money right now. I don't care. This hurts. As a poor millennial, this hurts.
Play Ouija boards in the parking lot. I wished you would. I'd snatch it out of your hand and burn it in our parking lot right in your face. We're not playing with death.
Okay, that's just straight up theft. And I'm pretty sure there's a commandment about stealing, Greg. You don't want to steal. It's bad. A burning bush told Moses, though.
Devils. We are not playing with demons. I ain't messing around with the occult. I'm not messing around with these trinkets and with the Masonic Lodge. I'm not. I have no affiliation with that mess, never have, and I never will. We are going to have our fire tomorrow night. And I don't care how small or how big. Stuff is coming in from everywhere. He said, well, you can only burn vegetation on your property. You can't burn stuff that people bring to you. Really? Make up the rules as you go, right?
No,
the government...
no, that is true. That is a real rule, and there's a reason for that, Greg. There is a reason. A, you could burn something that explodes, like plastic or aluminum cans or deodorant. Like, if you put that stuff in a fire, it will explode. As a scout, we had times when we would just throw axe cans into the fire just so we could watch them explode. It'd be like a grenade. Like, yeah, there's a reason you're only allowed to burn vegetation. It's safe. It's not going to release chemicals. It's not going to explode. It's not going to endanger the people around it. That's a real thing. Don't fight this one. Please, Greg. Please don't.
It's pretty good about doing that. We've noticed that in the last 23 months. Just make up the rules. Change the goalposts. Well, the EPA is going to find you. It's going to cause, these books are going to cause problems in the air. Whatever. People around here are burning garbage in their backyard, and they're worried about us. And by the
Greg, you are a big, you have a big impact in the community. Yes, they should go after all these people who are burning garbage, but that would be a lot of paperwork and a lot of effort on them, and I don't think they have the manpower or willpower to fight the entire community, as it sounds like, on this. So, well, they should. In an ideal world, they should, but they can't go after everybody, so they're going after the big fish like you, because this will have a bigger impact than any one person burning some garbage in their backyard. That's why they're going after you. You have a following. You have an impact. And they want to make sure that your impact is a positive one. That's it. That's all.
way, they're not upset that we're burning. They're upset what we're burning. And he said, you know, all of Wilson County's in an uproar right now, and you got a lot of eyes on you, and because of that,
Yeah.
you've drawn us into the mix. I'm not drawing you into the mix. Stay out of our parking lot. You won't have to worry about it. Because I don't care what the fine is, we're going to pay it. We are going to have our fire tomorrow night. I'm going to preach, we're going to have communion, we're going to worship, and we're going to burn that mess and send it back to the pits of hell where it belongs, no matter what Newsweek, CNN, and the rest of that crowd says. I don't care who shows up. Everybody's welcome, but we ain't going to mess with your spells and your witchcraft and your Satanism and your occultism and your Masonic Lodge mess. We're just not. Okay? So we're going to have our fire. And let me tell you something.
So I'm excited to see what comes of this. This is happening tonight, and I will be looking forward to following this and seeing what happens. I'll let everyone know what's happening.
I've already talked to the lawyer. I hate throwing around sue. But let me tell you something. We will sign the check and pay whatever fine necessary. But I remind you, we have a Tennessee state government issued license for tomorrow night. So the second you can...
That can be revoked by the same government. That is not a blank check to do whatever you want with. That is a specific thing that can be revoked if you are threatening to break the law, which you are clearly doing here.
Cash that check, we're suing you. Because I'm not playing your games. I'm not backing down. We got a neighbor over here ticked off. We got neighbors around us, people mad, people calling, people protesting, people threatening. I do not care.
Oh, okay. So not only is Greg Locke going to sue the government for following through on its own laws, I guess, which clearly he's not going to win, but also he's got people around him who are upset with his actions. Like, his own neighbors are upset with him, which is sort of a reason why the government would be involved. The government is like the community representative. So if people around you are upset, then the government's going to be upset with you. That's kind of how it works, Greg. That's how democracy works. And if you don't care, that's just your Christian persecution complex coming in and saying, I'm right, and anyone who says wrong is of the devil and not doesn't understand God's word, which is so ignorant. It's so ignorant of what other people may believe in other people's situations that you aren't giving them the basic empathy to listen to their problems with you and like find a solution that might work. As we just went through, there's ways to resolve conflict that doesn't involve you having to be right. There's ways to compromise and come together. And you don't have to be this authoritative, I'm always going to be right person, because that's not how it works. Anyways.
We are not your average church. We're not the church you grew up in. We're not your grandmama's church, and we are not the church down the road. We believe in full-blown spiritual gospel supercharged deliverance. I've watched it in my office all day. We've watched it under that tent this past couple of weeks. We watch it everywhere we go. It ain't something we manipulate or manifest. We have watched people be delivered when they break off these occultic tendencies that are in their life. So we will be...
First off, no, what you're watching is people's emotional reactions to these suggestions that you've put in their head. I know how this works. You talk about something and people accept it. People look to you as an advisor, as an elder, as someone who knows what you're saying. And so when you say something, you describe it, these people will accept it. And then when they present you with their problems and you present your solution, they will feel an emotional rush and try to explain and shape their experiences in a way, even subconsciously, even in a way that they aren't aware of. They will try to shape their experiences in a way that seems to validate their and your beliefs. And that can result in confirmation bias. So what you're really seeing is people being on an emotional high from performing, basically, and being suggestible. That's it. I'm sorry to break your bubble, but that's not something spiritual. That's something we can see with science. And if you've ever been in the hypnosis community, you would have a better understanding of how this kind of thing works.
having our bonfire tomorrow night. I don't care if every police officer in this area, which by the way, a lot of them are mad at me publicly on Facebook because 95% of them are Masons. Well, look, I don't have a little sticker on the back of my car that gets me in the good old boys club that gets me out of a ticket, which by the way, that's exactly why they have those on the back. Because you ask any Mason cop you want to, they cannot give another Mason a ticket. That's why these rapists...
That's so wrong. Okay, no. I just have to stop him and say, no, that's wrong. That's not how the Mason organization works. Yes, cops are biased in who they give tickets to, but you can get a ticket if you're a Mason. If all the cops are Masons, which I have no reason to believe they are, but I have also no reason to believe they aren't, then maybe they would be more biased towards fellow Masons than other people, give them more leeway, but they would still, like, they might write them a citation and just say, all right, I'm letting you off with a warning, good luck. You know? It's not how it works. I'm sorry, Greg. All right, content warning for the R word, R-A-P word. He's going to just toss it out there.
And pedophiles get away because if a judge is a Mason and a criminal is a Mason, he cannot convict people that are in the brotherhood. I know what I'm talking about. It's a nefarious, good old boy system that is nothing more than full-blown devil worship. And you tell it...
All right. So, Greg, what then is your solution? How should we fix this Masonic problem of the police giving each other special privileges? Could it be that we actually possibly, hear me out, we change how the policing system works so that it becomes more equitable and fair, and we make it easier for cops to write each other up so that there isn't this fraternity of brotherhood as you were talking about? Could it actually be that we need some level of police, what's it called? Police change, police structural difference, police reform. That's it. Greg, are you suggesting we need police reform? Because if so, not only do I agree with you, but I think we should go further. I think we should completely strip away a lot of the responsibilities of police so that they can go and really focus and get good at the one or two things that they're good at, which is responding to dangerous situations when necessary. And they don't have to worry about traffic situations or have drug situations handled by a different thing. That would be amazing. And then the cops won't have to worry about locking each other up because then someone else can watch them. Doesn't that sound better? Doesn't that sound like it solves your issue? I know that's kind of a tangent, but if we're talking about how the police are unjust here, maybe you should consider that rather than sticking to your guns about how you're right and they are therefore of the devil. Just a thought.
Never one of them grand poopah worshipful masters that I said so. We will have our bonfire tomorrow night if every fire truck in this area shows up, if every sheriff and patrolman in this area shows up. We will not be trampled on. We will not be silenced. We will not be stopped. We will not be violated, and we will be protected in the name of the Lord. So you got the wrong one if you think I'm just going to willy-nilly whisper away into the corner and be like, well, okay, we're going to do it your way. Oh, no, we're not doing it your way. We're going to do it God's way. And Acts 19 says they brought their curious magic arts together and they burned them and mightily grew the word of God. So I don't care what people think about me. I'm over it. I got family that's disowned me, friends that are disowned me.
Whoa, Greg, that is a huge confession.
As long as my wife is happy and God is pleased, I'll do
Hang
whatever.
on. Why is it not pausing? Hang on.
And when I'm right, based on the Bible, I'll dig my heels in and I'll roll with it.
Greg, are you serious? Have people really disowned you? First off, I am sorry that happened to you. I know that fear, and it's not fun. It's not something I would wish on anyone. That being said, it's probably because your beliefs are QAnon adjacent, They are anti-vax. They are putting people, including apparently authorities, in danger where they feel if they show up to do their jobs, they will be attacked. This is a problem that you created. Like, I'm sorry, but you put yourself in this situation. And as much as I wish you didn't have to go through it, you kind of played yourself. So, Greg, introspect, please. Before you go on one of these video rants, take 15 minutes, take a half hour, take an hour a day, and just sit back, think about what happened, think about it logically, think about it from a Christian perspective, think about it from a other perspective. Try to find something that finds a balance between your most extreme Christian beliefs and how they might see it. And then once you find that middle perspective, analyze that one and see what sort of solutions you might come to from there, what sort of compromises you might come to. Because if you do that, you might not be so disowned from your family. You might be able to repair some of these bridges that you've clearly burned if you don't care that these people disowned you. I had no idea. Wow, okay. Okay, so Greg is living on his lonesome. All right.
I'll dig my heels in and I'll roll with it. I don't care how mad the neighbors get. They can burn garbage in their backyard, and yet we can't burn occultic stuff. It's not that we're burning. It's got these masons stirred up.
He's basically I love this. He's basically doing the little kid thing of, what about them? What about them? They get to do that. Why can't I do that? No. What about them? It's not fair. It's so funny. He's basically throwing a tantrum because some people get to do something, and some people don't get caught doing something, and he does. So he goes on and throws a tantrum for 12 minutes. Oh, Greg, this is why people don't like you. It's because you do immature stuff like this. Come on, you can play. It's okay, you two.
Burning Masonic Bibles and Shriner hats and all that bunch of mess. It's nonsense. Leave our church alone. Let us have church. You send everybody you want to, but you better be ready, because we're not backing up, packing up, slacking up, or shutting up until we've been taken up by the glory of God. I'm going to tell you something.
And that sounds like you are riling up your congregation for a conflict. You are telling them to stand fast and not let anyone stop you. That literally sounds like you are gearing them up for a fight. I really hope no one gets hurt from this, because the more I listen to this, the more it sounds like someone might take this as like a call to action. This is literally sounding like a call to action. I'm scared. I'm scared for the people.
I will preach the gospel to my last breath. I promise you, they'll have to kill me before I stop having biblical convictions.
Oh,
they may very well
Greg.
want to.
No death. No death, Greg. Bad. No. That is not okay. I want you to survive. I don't want your life to be in danger. Do not say that is where this line must be drawn, because that sort of line will result in violence. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can cover more of him. This is intense. Okay, come on. There's 2 minutes
Enough
left.
death threats as it is. But I ain't worried about that either, Skippy. I'm telling you, I'll sleep fine tonight. But tomorrow night, we will have a bonfire. You better get here early. Bring everything you can. We'll burn all of it if it takes 7 hours. If it takes 7 days, we'll burn all of it. But we will have our burn, and we will be burning, and we have a burn permit. And if you revoke it, that's on you, not on me. Every bucket sits on its own bottom. We'll have the whole pit set up.
It's literally on you,
We will light it on fire.
That's how the law
and
works.
no, you will not put it out. And I do not give 2 flips of a wooden nickel if you fine us. I'll pay the fine and then sue you when you cash the check. We did everything legally correct and right. And so we're standing on that. We're believing that. I believe in deliverance. I don't care how many meetings I get canceled. I don't care who gets mad and uncomfortable. And you're like, well, you're just going to run people out of the church. Thousands of people are showing up at this church because they are being set free by the power of the gospel like God's Holy Spirit intended. Intended. So if your pastor wants to keep you in bondage, great. This one wants you free. You see, here's the problem. Doctors want to keep you.
Okay. So he said a lot there. I kind of just let it play because at some point you just get overwhelmed. Greg, if you lose your burn permit, that's because of your actions. The government reserves the right to remove it based on any actions that they deem as dangerous, unsafe, or unlawful. You are literally breaking the law by burning things that are not allowed. You are breaking the law here, and therefore they are within their rights to remove the burn permit. The people around you are upset with you because you are a virulent, anti-vax, anti-mask, anti-made-up stuff type of pastor who riles up their congregation and gets all loud and does grandstanding like this, and people just get tired of it. People get tired of your attitude. Maybe they even are Christian. They probably are. You're in Tennessee. They just don't like your attitude. And yeah, they're right to do so because you come across as really strong all the time. And that can be really wearing on people. Not to mention, you've been calling people to arms, calling people to action over this, saying that the only way this is going to stop is with your death. And now you're going to talk about how the politicians are just like lawyers who want to keep you or just like doctors who want to keep you like constantly distracted and constantly addicted to their treatments and their prescriptions and doctrine. That is fundamentally wrong. The doctors are there to heal you. And our system of doctors and medical system sucks, but that's not on any individual doctor. That's on a system beyond them. So it's completely different. So please, Greg, don't do this to yourself, man. It's so hard to watch you just hurt yourself like this just because you're angry.
Sick because there's money in it. And preachers want to keep you mentally, emotionally unstable because there's money in it. I don't preach for money.
Says the dude who has $50,000 lying around and riles up his audience with calls to action against threats that literally don't exist, like demons and witches, like an evil magic using witch. Greg, that's what you're doing. You're causing people to be emotionally unstable because you are causing them to doubt the facts of the very reality.
I don't need it. I'm a high-tech redneck, always have been, drive a 1992 Bubba truck and don't need your money and don't want your money and could care less. You could put it in a bag and burn it tomorrow night if you want to. I preach because there's a calling on my life. We will be having our showdown tomorrow night no matter who shows up. If the governor shows up, he'll have to participate because this is private church property.
That is a direct... The way he's pointing his finger and talking about this, that feels like a direct threat. The fact that he goes all the way up to the top, to the governor. That feels so dangerous.
And we're not messing with Nazis. You hear me?
We're
not messing with devils.
Who said this was Nazis? No one said this was Nazis. Why are you bringing Nazis into this? This is not about Nazis. What are you talking about?
We are going to do what the Holy Spirit clearly asked us to do, and I don't care how many friends I lose over that. People's deliverance by the power of the gospel mean more to me than what you think about Greg Locke. So bring it, Satanists. Bring it, witches. Bring it, warlocks. Bring it, Freemasons.
Warlocks?
You can line up.
Warlocks?
You can hate me with the rest of them. Stand
All
in
right,
line.
all right. Everyone watch out. The warlocks are going to eldritch blast the congregation. Not enough to kill anyone, just enough to hurt them so that they reel and fall back. So, you know, the actual authorities can go in. Ooh, this is a joke, by the way. This is a 5e joke. Ooh, watch out. The warlocks are going to get you. Oh, watch out. They serve patrons like the Void. If any of my warlocks do want to go down there and talk to Greg about this, by all means, go and talk to him. Make sure it's peaceful. Make sure no one gets hurt. Please. And I will grant you whatever power you need to do so. Oh, boy.
We are not going to bend to your demands.
And that is a very dangerous man. All right, let's see what the comments have to say, shall we? So we have, love, love, love your courage. I've in Texas, I would give anything to be in a church like yours. All right. Pastor Greg Locke, amen. So people being very supportive. Wow, people are just like, you're standing up to the authorities. Good for you. People are supporting him for fighting the government and supporting.
To hop on here, but I'm going to go ahead and get started because I got a lot to say and just a
why is it
very short
restarting?
amount of time to say it. I'm going to be passionate, so do not mistake my passion.
All right. Well, that was weird. A lot of people who aren't from his church. Oh, here we go. Stay true to the
what
path.
People call
oh my God!
Because
YouTube, stop breaking on me.
That need to be said. So I want you to tune in.
Wait.
I want you to share this. I want you to go back and watch it. And I want everybody around, especially the people near to us in our community, to hear me when I...
There. Now I can play and I just won't listen to it. All right. Anyways, where was that comment I saw? Oh, here we go. This will be interesting. I saw my first healing in person when I attended Kent's Christmas Fresh Fire Conference in November 12th, 2022. What? 2022? That hasn't happened yet. Did they have a typo or is this made up? When a gentleman named Dennis was healed of Parkinson's disease? I'm sorry, what? Have you checked in on them yet? Are they still cured? Or did they somehow come down with that disease again? I'm so curious. Just by the way, faith healing, completely false. Then attended Catherine Crick Healing Service in Travelers Rest, South Carolina, and for the first time in my 61-year-old boomer, watched many people be delivered from demons and set free. Okay, boomer. It sickens me to think of how the church has let people suffer rather than obey what Jesus told us to do. The church is trying to help people stay safe and sane. We might need to look at clips from that sermon. Not the whole thing, but might need to look at clips of it. Because there sounds like that needs to be examined. This is a real revival. This is real and revival is now. All glory be to God. Stand Pastor Greg and his church. I was baptized there by the pastor Sunday, November 14th, 2021, and will never be the same. Okay, so this is clearly someone who's bought into Greg Locke's propaganda and beliefs, because this sounds like the kind of thing you'd see in a cult where, like, this person is real and they saved my life and they changed my life, and therefore what I feel is what they say is completely accurate. You absolutely cannot unsee healings and deliverance. You realize just how much Jesus loves us. Faith healings are completely BS. And what this person saw was emotional highs, allowing people to temporarily overcome their symptoms. But it doesn't mean that they are completely healed. Ay, ay, ay. Let's see if there's any other comments here that are good to read. Prayers that Jesus places a hedge of protection around you and your family. I don't know why, but I just find that one funny. The idea of just a hedge of protection. All right. Doesn't look like there's anything else. So, Greg Locke is currently going to go talk about how is currently going to further demonize anyone who is not Christian and burn books and beliefs in effigy over at his church. I hope everyone is safe there. I hope everyone is. I hope no one gets hurt. But Greg, the way you talk about this, the way you throw a tantrum like this, is only going to get people riled up and upset. And it's only going to lead to harm. If not now, then in the future. There's going to be some consequences from this. And I hope the consequences only affect you, and that they only affect you in a way that is not physical. That your physical health is not affected. Because it sounds like your social health is being affected by all of this, with your family leaving you. And I'm sorry you think that this is an appropriate way to act when the government tries to politely tell you that you are wrong, because this just shows a clear lack of maturity and humility. We're going back to like no humility. Anyways, no matter what happens, no matter how this made you feel, the Void loves you. Throw any thoughts, any fears, anything you might have in the comments below. I will update everyone in the description on how this went, and we will definitely cover this on a future stream. Like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. And if you want to become my warlock, just put down in the comments. I will submit to the Void and spread the teachings of love and sorry, of love and selflessness. Where's my mouse? Have a good one.